Princess Elara had always known that she was different. Born to the ruling bloodline of the Storm Kingdom, her family was known for their legendary control over the elements. They wielded the power of lightning and thunder, their magic keeping the kingdom safe for generations. But Elara's power was something else, wild, untamed, and unstable. While her siblings mastered the ferocity of storms, Elara struggled to control her abilities. It wasn't just her magic that separated her from the rest of her family. It was the dark whispers of a curse that had haunted their bloodline for centuries. The curse of the storm's betrayal, a twisted legend passed down through the generations, spoke of a time when the kingdom's great power would fade and its rulers would be consumed by the very storm they controlled. Some said the curse had already begun, creeping into the hearts of Elara's ancestors. With each passing generation, the power of the storm had waned, and now it seemed to be reaching its darkest hour. When Elara's father, the Storm King, mysteriously disappeared during a violent tempest, the kingdom fell into a state of panic. The skies above the kingdom darkened, thunderous clouds overshadowed the land, and a sense of impending doom loomed over every citizen. The royal council, desperate to maintain order, turned to Elara, knowing that she was the last of the storm, King's bloodline. But no one knew where to begin. Her magic was unreliable, and the weight of the kingdom's future rested on her fragile shoulders. Days passed, and the pressure mounted. In secret, the council consulted the ancient texts and uncovered a horrifying truth. The Storm Crown, a legendary artifact said to amplify the powers of the air, was hidden deep within the Storm Labyrinth, a place so perilous that no one had ever returned from its depths. According to the prophecy, only the true heir to the throne could wield the crown, but it was said to be guarded by fierce trials and traps, designed to test both the body and the mind. The crown, if found, would restore the kingdom's strength and break the curse. But the path was treacherous, and Elara was uncertain she was the one meant to find it. Still, there was no other choice. The kingdom's survival depended on it. With her heart heavy with fear and uncertainty, Elara set out alone, leaving the safety of her castle behind. The Storm Labyrinth was located far beyond the kingdom's borders, in a desolate and cursed land where no one dared to venture. As she traveled through the wilderness, the once ferocious storms that had defined her family's reign became a constant, oppressive presence. The winds howled louder, the clouds seemed to follow her every step, and the occasional flash of lightning felt like a warning, a reminder of the storm's power and of her own incapacity to control it. After days of grueling travel, Elara finally reached the edge of the labyrinth. It was a vast expanse of rocky cliffs and dark forests, the air thick with an unnatural chill. She could feel the weight of the storm growing stronger here, as though the very land itself was alive, watching her every move. There was no turning back now. The entrance to the labyrinth was hidden beneath a thick veil of mist. As she stepped through it, the world seemed to shift. The ground beneath her feet was unstable, and strange noises echoed from the shadows. The labyrinth's walls moved, changing position as though they were alive. Elara's powers surged within her, yet she struggled to control them. The winds swirled around her, tugging at her clothes, while flashes of lightning cracked the sky, illuminating twisted shapes in the distance. She had to keep moving. The first trial was one of fear. As she ventured deeper into the labyrinth, the walls began to shift more rapidly, and Elara found herself disoriented, lost in a maze of her own mind. Dark figures emerged from the mist, ghostly apparitions of her ancestors, each one accusing her of her family's failures. The storm had always been their protector, but now it was their curse. They demanded that she prove herself worthy of the crown, to show that she could wield the storm without being consumed by it. "Are you truly the heir?" one of the figures hissed. "Or are you just a shadow of the power that once was?" Elara trembled, her heart pounding in her chest, but she could not afford to give in to fear. She called upon the winds, summoning a gust that sent the apparition scattering. The storm responded to her will, but it was unstable, wild. She barely contained it, and with each surge of power, the labyrinth's walls seemed to close in, the air thick with danger. As the trials grew more intense, Elara began to sense a presence following her. A shadow, always just out of sight, lurking in the darkness. No matter where she went, it was there, its whispers ever present in her mind. "Elara," the voice called, soft and sinister. "You will never be able to control it." One night, as Elara took a brief rest, the figure finally revealed itself. A man cloaked in black, his face hidden in shadow. He introduced himself as the Shadow Herald, an agent of the curse, sent to guide her, or perhaps to destroy her. "I know your deepest fears, Princess," the herald taunted. "You are not the heir. You were never meant to save this kingdom. You will fail." Elara felt her resolve falter. The Shadow Herald's words stung, and for a moment she wondered if it was true. But as the darkness pressed in, something within her sparked. She wasn't just the Storm King's daughter. She was more than that. The storm did not control her. She could control it. With newfound strength, Elara stood tall and faced the Shadow Herald. "I may not be perfect, but I will fight for my kingdom. I will fight for my people." The herald laughed, a cold, hollow sound. "Then prove it." The final trial was the most dangerous yet. Elara had to confront the heart of the labyrinth, where the storm crown awaited. As she stepped into the chamber, a sudden force knocked her to the ground, and the air grew still. But before her, the crown shimmered, glowing with an eerie light. The storm crown pulsed with energy, beckoning her forward. Yet, as Elara reached out to claim it, the Shadow Herald reappeared, blocking her path. He was no longer a mere whisper in the darkness. He was the embodiment of the curse, a force that would stop at nothing to ensure her failure. With a surge of determination, Elara summoned every ounce of power within her. The storm roared in. Response: a fierce and chaotic whirlwind of energy. She battled against the curse, her mind and heart locked in a desperate struggle for control. And in that moment, Elara realized that the storm was not her enemy. It was her power, her legacy. She was the Storm Princess. With a final, powerful cry, Elara unleashed the full force of her magic, shattering the curse's hold. The Shadow Herald vanished, and the crown lay before her, now hers to claim. Elara placed the storm crown upon her head, and the skies above the kingdom cleared. The storms no longer raged in chaos, but now moved with purpose, a symbol of the new strength she had unlocked within herself. The kingdom was saved, but Elara had been forever changed. The curse had been broken, but she now understood the true meaning of her power, control, responsibility, and the courage to face the storm within.